when we start talking about adaptation.
Well, I don't want to comment. I agree with what Atik said, but let me just add another thought here. One of the notions of adaptation, and as I said, you know, it's a evolving science in which we are learning a lot. I would say in the early days of adaptation, we used to think of it as being a very context-specific activity, and it is. It happens in different places in different ways, and unless you know what the situation in a particular place is, it's very difficult to know what the adaptation there has to be. On the other hand, there is now a much longer-term, more global dimension to it, in that we do know for a fact that over the next 3 to 4 decades, there are going to be parts of the world where human habitation will be impossible. Low-lying coastal areas, some low-lying islands, some drought-prone drylands in mid-continents will simply not be able to support the populations that are living there today. Their children are going to have to be accommodated elsewhere. Now, this is a man-made phenomenon. So adaptation also has a much higher scale. Some people are going to have to migrate. Some countries may just go underwater and the people there may have to leave. How do we deal with that? They're going to have to move somewhere else. This is a brand new phenomenon that climate change has brought on board that we have to deal with, that didn't exist before.
Thank you, Salim. I now would like to invite Professor Masataka Watanabe to make a closing speech highlighting regional partnerships and cooperation in the Asian community. Professor Watanabe is associated with Kyoto University, Japan, and is the acting chairman of the Asia-Pacific Adaptation Network. He has been involved in a wide range of research areas, including modeling of ecosystems and ecosystem services in catchment and coastal zone interaction in China. Professor Watanabe.
Okay. Thank you, Rupa. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to present the regional activities in Asia. Particularly, this forum is organized by a platform and also Asia-Pacific Adaptation Network together. And today's morning session and opening sessions, Achim Steiner gave this speech talking about the Global Adaptation Network as well as the Asia-Pacific Adaptation Network. And I would like to remind you and reviewing again the activities which we started last year from this Bangkok, addressing the necessity of establishing the Global Adaptation Network. Now, the role of the Global Adaptation Network is interregional cooperation, knowledge management, policy support, and scientific activities. And as here, the Africa, Asia Pacific, and Latin America, West Asia is 4 components of the Global Adaptation Network. Unfortunately, the only Asia Pacific is actively launched 2009 October 3, and therefore the Asia Pacific Adaptation Network is piloting the Global Adaptation Network. As shown in here, inception phase we set 2009 to 2010, and therefore this year October is just we are celebrating 1 year anniversary of just newly born Asia Pacific Adaptation Network, and we have to explain a little bit what we have done in the past 1 year. First, we established the framework of Asia Pacific Adaptation Network, setting up the steering committee and setting 5 sub-regions, including Central Asia, South Asia, Pacific, Southeast Asia, and Northeast Asia, and inviting scientists and government representatives from each sub-regions, and therefore reflecting scientific knowledge as well as the policy needs. And also in the past, just recently, I have to happily announce that the Asia-Pacific Regional Hub has been established in Bangkok, which is jointly hosted by UNEP, RRCAP, and IGES. We hope that this regional hub will play a key role of promoting the activities in Asia and Pacific adaptation activities. And also, we have the strong collaboration with adaptation platform, which is organizing also this forum 2010, and the adaptation platform is 1 year ahead from our activities and already accumulating quite a large amount of needs or the demands from the South Asia and Southeast Asia sub-regions. And therefore, we are working together to promote the activity in the Asia-Pacific Adaptation Network. Now, the Adaptation Network is hoping to provide the knowledge in order to build resilience to a changing climate. And therefore, we set the 5 goals. One is assessing vulnerability and adaptation services of ecosystem, promoting ecosystem-based adaptation, building national capacity, and supporting countries to integrate adaptation into their national and sectoral development planning processes. And finally, providing technical and policy support to major climate change financing mechanisms. Now, in order to break down our activities, we set the 3-stage activities. One is prediction and knowledge bank. Mainly the scientific knowledge and also traditional social knowledge is also included in this area. However, the database development is one of the key difficulties that we are facing because most of the exercise done by either ADB or World Bank or JICA, those activities are still the important. However, most of the data are scattered in each government level or research group or even project level. Therefore, we have facing a very difficulty of gathering those useful database development. And also, we are also developing these so-called integrated assessment tools, which might be helping to advance or decrease the uncertainties in the scientific predictions. And also, the other third activity is a so-called pilot project, which is demonstrating adaptation measures. In other words, good practices is also, we think it's important to learn about the successful the knowledge accumulation. And based on those prediction and knowledge banks activities, we are creating adaptation alliance between the government, international organization, as well as research capacities. Again, the Hub Center will play a key role to synthesize and have a good alliance relationships. And the last activity is support for mainstreaming into development plan. Now, not only generating, but also sharing knowledge to enhance adaptive capacity is a very important role to our activities. However, the knowledge distribution, in other words, the practical level, how do we distribute those knowledge is also one challenge we are now attacking. Particularly in the local community levels, the distribution is very challenging to us. Now, in the past 1 year, we set this the structural framework, also establishment of hub centers. Now, the first activities we conducted was the consultation meeting in Mongolia conducted on June 2010. And the reason why we selected Mongolia is that this region is suffering from the strong climate change influence on permafrost melting. And grassland ecosystem is strongly affected by this permafrost melting. And the economy of 40% economy in Mongolia is based on this the grassland ecosystem. Therefore, we selected this Mongolia as a first step consultation meeting. And also, we are collaborating with researchers and also decision makers in Mongolia for the variety of the so-called needs assessment and gap analysis conducted, and the hope that the reports will come soon, published by the book as well as the internet level. But one of the important activities we are hoping is to have a good practice in Mongolia to demonstrate adaptation measure in pasture society influenced by the global warming and permafrost melting. The other activities we conducted the second activity was the so-called the Central Asia Regional Consultation Meeting, which was held on September 29, which is last month, 2010, as a side event to the 6th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific. Now, again, the summary and detailed report will be published soon, I hope. But these two activities is the major activities which we have conducted in the past 1 year. And from those experiences that we would like to extend our activities into the other regions, such as the Pacific and South Asia and Southeast Asia. Although Southeast Asia and South Asia are already covered by the adaptation platform, however, we may also continue our own consultation from the additional point of view. Now, Salim gave a very nice overview of today's discussions, and also he mentioned particularly in the uncertainties involved in the adaptation exercise, particularly in the science level. And probably I can give you the limitation of the prediction. However, still, as a scientist, we are struggling to improve our own predictive capabilities.